I think last week it was like we were talking about the personal AIs, this is my sort of AI interpreter for the world. It's the AI me that you go through to get to the real me. And so like seeing Facebook this week, or Meta put out the AI studio where you can create AI characters, no code. We were almost a little prophetic last week because it looks like they're hopping on this train.
It's building on that sort of like personal front of house thing, right? Like this is the AI version you encounter first, and then I could talk to the real me. It makes sense to me. I mean, you see like folks like Mr. Beast translating all their videos, making channels in other countries. This feels like an extension of that, right? Am I automatically sort of getting that treatment for my Instagram account? So having an AI version of me means it's fluent in every language that the AI model knows. It means it can answer questions 24/7. And it's this filtering mechanism to give me leads if they get by whatever filters are there.
Yeah. Right. And I think, and it's interesting because I think what they've started with, they call them AI characters, which they're terming them, like branding them closer to what Chris is talking about, where it's this character. But when you look at, I'm just looking at the screenshots they have here, like guess my sign, book nerd. These aren't characters. These are GPTs, right? This is like, somebody came in and swapped the system prompt, and that's what this whole product is, right? So it's like, okay, is this actually that exciting? AI is based on your interest, and then here is what Chris is talking about: AIs that are an extension of you, right? So engage with your audience. This is exactly what you were talking about. Maybe Meta should hire you.
And I think I expect this to go very poorly at first.
Yes.
Like I don't expect this to work right off the gate. I think it'll feel I think authenticity is part of the whole creator economy, and this will feel very inauthentic for a long time. So until this gets normalized, I think they're just I think it's an experiment. You put it out there, see what happens.
But I think, two things. First of all, the thing you're showing before, it just feels like they're really re-implementing character AI. And there's that whole set of concerns we talked about last time, particularly for younger audiences. But here with this specific celebrity-based thing, I think if it eventually goes well, it's really bad, actually. It's going to reinforce parasocial relationships in a way that has never been done before.
Unprecedented,
Like, it's just, character AI, we talk about how it's kind of, morally a bit gray to be like, oh, can I have feelings for this AI character? And you know what? Look, it's role play. You probably, even with books, right? You could imagine in a scenario like, like, I'm going on a date with this person, whatever, right? Like I'm sure like kids have done that for forever and it's part of being human. But here, having this entire thing where you can interact with a celebrity that you follow and you track them, like I see this being, it's going to be very interesting to see how it works in the K-pop world, right? Like they already like, the whole idea of K-pop stars and stuff like that. Yep. Like I can imagine this going crazy, right? Like they have that next level of just commitment to following their group or whatever. And if they could have talked to it 24/7, I don't know. It would be very interesting to see how that goes. Like it probably would be a very successful consumer product once it gets normalized. But I think it begs the question of just because we can do it, should we do it? Right? This kind of gets towards the kind of dystopia thing where I think there's going to be definitely this kind of curve of you have a few people who are like, whoa, like imagine you're this massive celebrity. Suddenly you have this amazing product and your reach is expanded and your fans are even more like, fully committed and so on. So you could probably make tons of money. But then you have a long tail of people who are just kind of left on the sides, right? Like economic distribution wise. So what are your two thoughts on particularly the parasocial?
My thoughts are a little less deep. They're more around this idea of like, we're going to get a lot of great memes out of this in the short term.
That's what I'm talking about.
No, just like, it's going to be awesome because there are already plenty of memes where people like message celebrities and then they respond, or if oh my god, if they say something funny, like if they have some sort of funny response, that thing's gonna blow up. And so I'm just thinking about like the overlap of AI hallucinations / funny failures and then celebrity DM memes. It's like, this is gonna be incredible.
I think it's worth calling out, if you scroll up a little bit to that first sort of splash screen at the top of the page, or the first header, It strikes me that they don't have a lot of faith in this product.
Yes.
Like if I've been sitting in the designer view, is Sammy the stress ball really the first thing we want to see? Is that the main like example to folks of what you can make, followed by Guess My Sign, the book nerd, and rolling aces? I don't know what AC something.
And that's why it's kind of interesting, right? Because like you called the creator AI side, and then it felt like they had to do the character AI side because
Yeah, it's like
character
they didn't
AI
get
has
traction.
more usage than meta AI or whatever,
Right.
And like maybe they're concerned, like you said, about how is this like creator AI thing going to work out? Is it going to get adoption from the users? Is it going to get adoption from the celebrities? But then this was like I'm just thinking in the business decision. This was like compete character AI doing really well. Now we have to do it, right?
But even for calling it character AI, the first few of these aren't characters. Sammy the Stress Ball is a character, but Guess My Sign's not a character.
No, that's
the
a
Book
GPT.
Nerd is maybe sort of a character, but it feels more like the name of a bookstore. Like it feels very it feels very GPT.
I mean, to play devil's advocate here, though, I think most consumers don't understand the difference yet, right? And I think that might have been part of the decision is just, I guess we can make real people and fake people. That's kind of how I'm seeing them, like, picture this. And it could just be because 12-year-olds really don't understand the difference between what is, a GPT versus what is, like, something like, I fine-tuned or whatever. Like, so I think it might be just as simple as that, as they were like, we have to kind of do this. And I'm sure there's probably discussions where like creator AI is probably not going to be so good. We make a terrible AI character like Sammy the Stress Ball, and the MAU on that is incredibly better than creator AI. And they're just going to be like, damn, I guess we have to do this. So maybe that's part of their decision, right? Like character AI has been like, from what I can see, a runaway success. So they're probably just like, they just
if anybody has a good sense of what the general public's awareness of these topics are, it's going to be Meta, right?
Yeah.
Way more than Google, way more than Microsoft, way more than any of these folks. They will have this knowledge of what 2-3 billion, I forget what their numbers are at nowadays, are how they're engaging with technology. So yeah, maybe they're right.
And honestly, I think it is a case of just kind of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, right? Like this seemed to be something that worked, and now they're like, hey, like let's put it in front of users. And for them, it's probably a case of just if they win, market share from character AI, or people are now, I don't know, maybe it might just. I've been saying kids, but it could be, like Facebook mums or something, right? They're just like, oh, let me talk to my Guess My Sign AI instead of going to BuzzFeed, and maybe they win business like that. And then I don't really know how they monetize it, right? Like this is all a free offering, so I assume at some point are they trying to get more ads in?
Are
they really just trying to keep you? Right? It's got to be ads, but are they? I don't know how you show ads here, right? Guess My Sign, you talk to it, and then suddenly it just like spits out an ad, or like, are they trying to sell like signal to like
get a personalized
like,
astrology calendar based on this conversation?
Before we move on to I think there's a whole conversation to be had on ads and AI and where that's going. We can do that now. We can do that later. But I wanted to make one more point on this, which is that it's almost a little funny that we're talking about it because this product is complete table stakes. Like, GPTs, Microsoft, we have an offering, like character AI, like everybody has done this. Right. I even think I saw something from Google that was similar. And so it's like, they what's maybe interesting here is that like creator AI piece where they're doing something a little more Facebook, a little more Facebook specific, right?
Yep.
It'd be interesting times. And
I mean, oh, sorry, go for it.
No, I was going to say with the character AI, even this idea that, you're saying memes and stuff like that. I wonder, again, this big philosophical question, how do we determine authenticity and how do we determine what is real or not? I'm surprised this is coming out before the election, honestly, because there is... I doubt they're going to make politician characters, whatever, but I could totally see people trying to prompt one of these character AIs to say something either political or offensive, and then be like, this celebrity character AI said this, and then they might have to say like, oh, it's not me though. But clearly this AI is based on you, so does it represent your views?
Yeah.
So I wonder how that's going to go. I'm sure it's going to be a topic of discussion moving forward, but I think there's still this overarching thing of, in the age of AI, the next couple of years, there's already a ton of just misinformation, fake news, stuff like that. How do we combat that? Especially as personal AI assistants become more of a thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's probably an open question right now.
My take is, at least in this case, like I don't think we do. Like if you're chatting to something that's clearly an AI version of somebody and putting too much stake in what it says, like at first, I think you're right. There are going to be a bunch of news articles. It's going to be, like all over the place. But I think pretty quickly it's going to become, you don't trust the thing with a big AI logo next to it that it's going to be the real person, right?
But how do you deal with people photoshopping that off? So
Okay.
easy,
Yeah, but
right?
it's also so easy to Photoshop a message into like that's been
Yeah,
a thing
you're right.
forever,
You're right.
right?
You're right. Yeah. So I guess maybe there's no actual difference, but maybe there will be clickbait, as you said at the start. But you're right.
And
Probably
then
good to
maybe
make
the
sure.
real difference is that just over time, like yeah, you've already been able to Photoshop a message history
Yeah.
with a celebrity, but that hasn't
Yeah.
stopped people from posting fake message histories with celebrities that get traction, right? And so it's like,
Mm.
you know, maybe actually there's just gonna be a moment of reckoning where it's like, okay, actually now no one trusts those things anymore, right? Which might actually
Yeah.
be a good thing. A screenshot of a message chat with allegedly a famous person is not a great piece of evidence. Never has been, but now it's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
Fair
it's
actually.
worth saying this happens with all forms of media too, right? Like the mail even had this problem, right? It's like, oh great, we can all send each other messages. Oh shoot, the problem is we can all send each other messages, right? So now like now you have the Nigerian prince scam. I think you're going to have a new generation of that, and then we'll build
Yeah.
cultural immunities to that, and there'll be a new awesome scam that comes out of the next tool. So it's surfing more than it's solving. I think you just got to keep it's an arms race between fraud and then the ability for the culture to detect fraud.
Right.
Like it sort of gave rise to live stream, right? The fact that you could fake video and images, live streams became popular. So now you do the thing live and show like, yeah, here's how I prove I got a message from a celebrity is I show my phone up to the camera and scroll it and tap in the app in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Because the making a fake Instagram app is a bit of a bridge too far right now to sell a
Yeah.
scam, but maybe not for long.